Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about in the review, the paid request, this time for Alexander. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But Alexander wanted me to talk about Stephen King's Thinner from 1996. Now, it was directed by Tom Holland, not the guy who played Spider-Man, the guy who directed the original Fright Night, the original Child's Play, among other films. It stars Robert John Burke, who played RoboCop in RoboCop 3. You also have Joe Mantegna, which is funny because he plays a mafioso and yet he's like the most likable guy in the movie. And that's the thing with this film, is that I was never a fan of this movie. I never have been. No, I never read the novel. If this is how it's like in the novel, then fine, I blame the novel. I still... When you're directing from a novel to a movie, you could always change something. That's what you do in adaptations. It's like Cujo. In Cujo, in the book, I remember the little kid died. In the movie, they changed it, to me, for the better. The Running Man, very loosely based on it, but I have read bits of the Running Man story original to know that I like the Arnold adaptation a lot more. I like a lot of Stephen King, Richard Bachman adaptations. I love Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. I think that's much better than the little short story that, to me, was not much to run home about. I like The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's version, more than that damn TV miniseries with, was it Steven Weber? I think The Hedgemaids works better than the topiary leaf animals coming alive and... But anyway, getting back to this. Robert John Burke plays this fat lawyer. Every damn scene he's eating something. He gets his crime boss, Joel Mantegna, off. And like everybody in this movie is despicable, and because of that, I don't give a crap about what happens. Just everybody's despicable. The gypsies are despicable. The lawyer's despicable. The wife is despicable. The wife is cheating with his doctor, who's despicable. Maybe the daughter's not despicable because she's only in it for 5 minutes. His friend, who's like, you see that gypsy piece of ass? Give her this, and ask her to lift her skirt. Like, everybody's a despicable piece of shit. And I'm sitting there going, who am I supposed to root for? Why am I supposed to care about this guy's condition? It's like there are no good guys. Everybody's a bad guy. And I get it. Sometimes that can work. Reservoir Dogs. I mean, well, one is an undercover cop, but at least that, with the acting and the dialogue that was written, at least that makes it more interesting to follow these characters. It's not really the case here. I can't remember if Tom Holland, if he was going through health issues or something else while in the making of this film. I can't remember. But anyway, one night after some stuff, he's driving home with his wife. His wife is kind of edging him off, then starts sucking him off while he's driving. And he actually hits this gypsy lady, who's the daughter of this older guy. And the older guy is bad that Robert John Burke gets off with a slap on the wrist because he's working with the cops, he's working with the judge, he gets nothing. So the guy comes up and goes, "Thinner." And then lo and behold, he starts losing a lot of weight. He loses like 40 pounds in 2 weeks. And like the most disgusting part of the movie is him stuffing his face in like every scene. Now, I know some people have really talked a lot of bad stuff about the effects, in particular the fat suit. People have said that they could see the creases in the fat suit. Maybe I need my glasses cleaned. I didn't think the makeup effects were as bad as people made them out to be by Greg Canham, which, I mean, he worked on Mrs. Doubtfire, he worked on other stuff. I don't know, I didn't think the makeup effects were as bad as some people make it out to be. I think that's one of the few decent things about it. But, again, maybe that's just me. And then as he's getting thinner, I thought those makeup effects were pretty decent as well. And that's the thing, the idea is nice for a horror film. But maybe it would be better as a short horror film. I don't know if this is something that really works as a full-length movie. Like, this maybe could work if you have likable characters, or, okay, if you're going for that Tales from the Crypt thing where it's a guy getting his just desserts, so to speak, punishment, maybe will work better as a segment of an anthology. Maybe. But I don't know if this is really a full-length film-worthy feature. Because then the rest of the movie is just him getting thinner, getting thinner, getting thinner. The judge and the police chief, they got curses too. The wife tells the judge went somewhere because his skin was turning like a lizard creature. The police chief has these sort of fish-like lips. And there's a point where Robert John Burke meets with the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, what? You'll go up to the guy and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And that's another movie thing. The movie tries to have this... At times, I don't even know if it's supposed to be a comedy or a horror film. It's trying to, like, play both fences. Which I just think Tom Holland did that a lot better in the original Fright Night. I mean, I get maybe just trying to go for that Tales from the Crypt kind of style. Just didn't quite work for me. And even the gypsies, I don't even think were that likable because like the granddaughter, Kari Wuhrer, plays her. Like, Robert John Burke didn't do anything. It was the other guys talking shit. And so she's like teasing, being seductive, and then she does like one of these. I'm like, well, at this point, Robert John Burke didn't really do much to you about that. And the old guy, nothing about the old guy came off as likable or for me to root for. That there's like a bit where maybe he was crying and he's like, you know what, you took everything from me, that's my daughter, and you did nothing for it. And was like yelling and screaming and had like a real moment with the old guy talking to Robert John Burke. You thought you'd get that? I'm like, you know what, how about this? You turn yourself in. You own up to your crime, and then I'll give your curse back. Then I'll relieve you of your curse. And so maybe he just relieved of his curse, but he's spending the rest of his life in jail. Like, he gives him that option, or any number of I don't know, just... It's hard to root for Robert John Burke when he doesn't really come off as likable either. Now, Robert John Burke's acting, I didn't mind his acting. I thought he worked better here than, say, RoboCop 3. He's given kind of a funny look when he says this. I didn't mind his line delivery when he's talking to his wife. He's going, "I'm being erased." But when he's doing it, his eyes are like... I don't even know how to do it. Like, he's looking like this, like the Stanley Kubrick evil guy, and like... He has his eyes up like I can't even do it. I don't know what they was trying for in that, but I like that line. I like the delivery. I've been erased. Or when he warns the guy and he gets like shot through the hand by the granddaughter and he's have the blood and he's like, the curse of the white man from town is on you, pal. But I'm sitting there going, how satisfying would that be if he was the hero? And if this guy was, the gypsy was the villain? Like, what if you had it was a decent guy who was in over his head, and he wasn't sure what to do, and he wasn't for this, and he tried to stop it, and he just put upon this curse, and you feel sorry for him, because it's not his fault, he doesn't deserve this, so as he's getting thinner, then the audience is getting more horrified, and they feel more terrible with how he's slipping away, and, like, he's got a wife, he's got a daughter, we feel bad, we want him to win, and when he at first threatens them, they all laugh at him, they think he's a joke, and then maybe this could be the moment where he finally maybe develop as a character who is a bit scared, he can't come out of his own shell, but then he finally does come out of his own shell, and the weakest part is like squeezing the blood, is like, no, the curse is on you. The curse of the white man is on you, pal. And you laugh now. Trust me, this ain't over. No in hell is this over, pal. You think the white man is so bad? You've seen nothing yet. You think your curse is bad. Trust me, the white man's curse will be haunting your dreams soon. Or something like that. I mean, and be like, yeah, get him. Like I say, it's sad that Joe Mantegna, who I wish was in the movie more, he appears at the beginning, one or so times in the middle, and at the end, where he gets Joe's help. Joe sends a medic to help his hand, bandage it. Joe says how thin he sees how thin he is. He's like, wish you would call me sooner. And then Joe Mantegna starts having fun with these guys. And also, when I say I don't feel sorry for the gypsy guys, like, there's a person who Joe hires. All this guy did was look and tell him, oh yeah, they're over here. Yeah, I believe they're over here. That's all he did. Next thing you know, spoiler, Joe and Robert John Burke find the guy and he's dead. He's dead, he's got like stuff in his mouth and his eyes are all fucked up. I'm like, wow, they just murdered someone and he didn't really do a whole lot of anything wrong. Kind of an innocent guy. At least not enough to pay for that. For death. I love Joe Mantegna's performance. He might have been a mook, but he was my mook. And in the spoilers, he goes to town. He kidnaps one of the gypsy guys, shoots the shit out of their place, blows up stuff, ties the guy up, sends him out, makes the gypsies shoot one of their own, and throws the note right back at them. Take it off. Kidnaps the granddaughter, threatens her, says, hey, this is acid, you move, you don't burn the shit out of you. So he ties her, puts her on the ground, puts this thing on her head. Now, she doesn't die or anything. She gets out it fine. But it was enough so that granddaughters take away long enough so that the grandfather is now willing to lift the curse. He makes this pie. You have to feed the pie to someone. And the guy's like, just eat the pie and, die, but die with dignity. I'm like, dude, you just murdered someone as well. Maybe you should die with dignity too, pal. That's the thing. If the movie... And I think Tom Holland, he did an interview where he said that the reason the movie didn't do well is because people grew to like Robert John Burke and they didn't want to see him die. And then, at the end, he gives the pie to his cheating wife. The curse is lifted, but she's dead. Which I don't know how the hell Robert John Burke is going to explain this. So I thought you could have just divorced your wife. Killing your wife in that way, it showed that he was really stupid. Because, okay, your wife is dead, in your bed, with the way she looks, where supposedly you were, by forensics, probably 2 feet away. How the hell are you going to explain that? You don't throw the dead body away. You don't try to explain to the girl, oh, by the way, your mom died from who, what, when, how. I don't know. So he kills her, comes down the stairs, realizes that his daughter ate the pie. So he's very saddened about that, because his daughter was, innocent in all this, and he loves his daughter. So he's ready to eat it, kill himself. The cheating asshole comes by, invites him to eat some pie, and the movie's over. I'm sitting there going, no, Tom Holland, it's not because people felt sorry for Robert John Burke. It was just... The downer part of the ending is the daughter getting killed for it as well. Because, she had nothing to do with it. I think if you let the daughter live, people would have been happier. But then, why would he then end up killing himself? I don't know. There's never a moment where... There's never really a moment where he realizes the error of his ways until, I guess, that very last moment where he actually killed his daughter. So, but just a bit too little, too late. I don't know, I'm sitting there, I'm going, I just don't care about this character, I don't care about this thing, I don't really care about this movie, really. And sorry, I'm going to get I know it's getting darker, let me get the light on a little bit. Apologize for that. But yeah, I just end up not caring about the proceedings. Because I'm sitting there going, why should I? With what's going on. I mean, some people don't like the makeup effects. I thought the makeup effects were decent. I like the idea, but I like the idea more than I like the movie. I didn't make it so that you can actually root for... how much... Wouldn't this be more horrifying if you actually felt sorry for your lead? If you actually cared about your lead character? Wouldn't that make it much more of a scary, horrifying story? I mean, imagine someone who had the loving personality, he was a good guy, like a Chris Farley, a John Candy had. You couldn't have them play this because the person has to get thinner and thinner, but imagine that type of person. And then the way they get thinner and thinner, it becomes much more horrifying, and you want them to make it, and you hope they'll make it, and... Again, when there's like no one to root for, except maybe, again, a crime mafioso boss. To me, that's one of the big problems with the movie. If you don't care about that, then like I said, I don't think they really needed to be a full-length feature film. Because it gets to a point that you just see him get thinner, and you see him get thinner. And sometimes some of the weird reactions from people, like the doctors. There's these doctors in this clinic that realize, there's something wrong, but they're all smiles. Oh, everything's right, Yeah, this guy lost like 100 pounds in 2 weeks, but they're all smiles. I'm like, doctors, you don't think this is a bit weird? Like, this guy's probably dying? Okay, maybe you don't think it's cancer, but it's something. But the doctor's like, and like the police chief with the fish lips, I thought that looked goofy. I know it's supposed to look horrifying, but with the fish lip, it looked like he had really bad plastic surgery. Like a horrible case of Botox. I don't know. I mean, it's not scary. I guess maybe people felt it was funny. I don't know. I guess it wasn't as funny. I didn't find it as funny as other people did. This is a film I just never cared for ever since I first saw it. And I still don't care for it. If you do, cool. There's some people that think this is one of the best Stephen King adaptations. I mean, I would go with... I love Maximum Overdrive. That to me is much more entertaining. Graveyard Shift, The Shining, Cujo, Cat's Eye. I rather watch The Landoliers than this, and The Landoliers has awful effects, but I actually like Dean Stockwell's character. I actually like some of those characters. I like the idea of the story. Again, the effects, though, are god-awful in that. If The Landoliers had better effects, I think that would be more well-liked. But, maybe, again, that's just me. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.